Hi guys, my ethical dilemma is on Emily at the VA where I am doing my internship. Emily is an 80-year-old white trans woman in the LGBTQIA support group at the Boise, Idaho VA. She shares that she is dealing with depression and conflicting thoughts about her identity and gender expression, not because she is questioning herself, but because it seems like she is frightened of the world around her. Emily says that she doesn't want to detransition because she is happy with who she finally is, but feels like it might be a necessity for her future. The VA supported her transition and will support her detransition if she decides to follow that path. The VA provides all different kinds of gender affirming care to transgender veterans, with the exception of gender affirming surgery, which they must finance themselves. Emily states that her wife of many years, who was at first supportive of her transition for almost a decade, recently left her, stating that she wanted to move back across the country with family. Emily agreed to go, but then her wife said that she didn't want her to come because she is uncomfortable with Emily's transition. Once her wife left, she started thinking about possibly going into an assisted living, but worries that being trans in a facility like that might be unsafe, especially in conservative Idaho with its anti-trans laws. She also doesn't want to leave her three dogs that bring her lots of joy that she's owned for many years. Because of those reasons, she has decided to stay in her home, but admits that some things are becoming more difficult for her around the house. She doesn't use a wheelchair regularly, but says she needs one for extended travel that she does twice a year for reunions with her military friends. Emily has a small but supportive group of friends that she has met through the VA support group and other places online. She also has a slightly younger sister who she regularly talks to, but says that most of the contact is over the phone. She also tries to regularly return for reunions and conferences with people she served with in the military, and says it brings her joy and meaning when she goes, but that she has to change back into her dead name, Emilio, when she does. Because most of them are saying it mildly, they are not supportive. When she talks about this, her mood seems somewhat deflated, but she continues to insist that the interaction with other helicopter pilots is worth the trade off for a day or two. I've chosen ethical relativism as the framework for approaching Emily's case. It rejects fixed moral rules and instead justifies ethical decisions based on the context of the situation. This allows for flexibility in decision making, considering the unique circumstances of this case. It also acknowledges the complexity of her dilemma. There is no clear cut right or wrong answer here. Emily's safety, personal identity, social connections, and quality of life are all important factors that affect her well being. In Emily's case, several ethical principles from the NASW Code of Ethics are in conflict. The principle of dignity and worth of the person, particularly self-determination, supports Emily's right to make her own decisions about her gender identity and expression. It would advocate for supporting Emily in living authentically as a trans woman. The principle of social justice calls on social work to challenge discrimination and to support social diversity, encouraging advocacy for Emily's rights and working to create a safer environment for trans individuals. The importance of human relationships principle emphasizes the significance of Emily's relationships, including those with her military friends. However, attending reunion requires her to use her dead name and pretend like she's someone she's not. The principle of competence requires social workers to practice with their areas of competence and seek necessary education about diverse groups, including the transgender community. Finally, the ethical responsibility to clients may conflict with other principles if what's best for Emily's safety contradicts her desire to live authentically. Emily's situation is deeply influenced by her environment. We see Emily at the center, with strong positive connections to her dog and the VA support group. We then see a distant connection to her sister and a strained connection to her ex-wife, a complex connection to her military friends and hobbies, positive emotionally but negative in terms of gender expression, a negative connection to the broader Idaho community and laws due to perceived lack of acceptance and anti-trans bills, and a positive connection to her home and environment with her dogs. Emily's dilemma involves multiple cultural factors. As a trans woman, she's part of the LGBTQIA community, valuing authenticity and self-expression. Her military background emphasizes tradition and masculinity and conflicts with her gender identity. Emily's age group faces severe LGBTQIA stigma and influences her fears. Idaho conservatism challenges her safety and belonging. The VA's inclusivity contrasts with the other veteran spaces that she navigates. Her wheelchair use connects her to a disability culture as well, adding complexity to her identity. These intersecting factors are crucial in addressing Emily's ethical dilemma. Emily's situation is affected by various policies and laws. The VA supports gender-affirming care but doesn't cover surgery. Idaho's anti-trans laws, while not directly impacting Emily currently, create a hostile environment. Federal non-discrimination laws exist but are challenging to enforce. The lack of comprehensive LGBTQIA protections increases Emily's vulnerability, especially in assisted living facilities. Potential policy solutions include federal LGBTQIA non-discrimination protections, specific safeguards for LGBTQIA plus seniors in assisted living, expanded VA coverage for gender-affirming care, and a state-level LGBTQIA protections for Idaho. In assessing my personal bias, I've identified several areas of concern. As a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, I have strong bias towards supporting Emily's authentic gender expression. I also have biases against conservative views and religion, which could affect my perception of Emily's environment and potential solutions. Additionally, I might have an age-related bias, potentially underestimating Emily's resilience or overemphasizing her vulnerability. To manage these biases, I've sought out diverse perspectives, including those from conservative viewpoints as well as older members of LGBTQIA community. And I've also talked to the head of the LGBTQIA program at the VA and consulted with my colleagues to change my assumptions and broaden my perspective. Most importantly, I've committed to centering Emily's wishes and experiences rather than projecting my own values onto her situation. By acknowledging and actively managing these biases, I aim to provide more objective and client-centered support to Emily. I have chosen to use the ethical rules screen and the ethical principles screen model. This model provides a systematic approach to ethical decision making that aligns well with social work values. It first checks for clear rules from the Code of Ethics, ensuring we don't overlook any explicit ethical guidelines. If no clear rules apply, it moves on to EPS, which provides a hierarchy of ethical principles to guide decision making. This model allows for a nuanced approach, recognizing that ethical principles may sometimes conflict and providing a framework for prioritizing them. It encourages thorough consideration of the relevant ethical aspects of the situation. The model is specific, making it particularly relevant to our professional context. This structured approach will help ensure comprehensive and ethically sound decision-making processes for Emily's complex situation. To evaluate the outcome of our intervention, we will establish clear, measurable goals with Emily based on her priorities, such as a level of comfort with her gender expression, sense of safety, and quality of life. We'll conduct weekly check-ins and one-on-one therapy with Emily to assess progress and gather feedback. Using standardized assessments, tools, and measure changes in her depression level and overall well-being. We'll monitor Emily's engagement with her support system like the VA group and her military friends, and assess any changes in her living situation and comfort level with these changes. We'll also evaluate the effectiveness of any advocacy efforts made on Emily's behalf and gather feedback from other professionals involved in her care. A review will be conducted after a set period to assess overall progress and identify any need for adjustments in the intervention or plan. This evaluation approach will help ensure we're effectively supporting Emily in achieving positive outcomes. This dilemma is ongoing, but we've made progress in several areas. Emily is continuing to attend the VA support group and engaging in therapy to address her depression. We're exploring safe housing options that allow Emily to maintain her gender identity and keep her dogs. We're working with Emily to develop strategies for safer interactions with her military friends while maintaining her authentic self. Additionally, we're connecting Emily with local LGBTQIA senior advocacy groups for additional support and community. We continue to support Emily as she navigates these complex decisions, and we always prioritize her autonomy and well-being. Using the person and environment theoretical framework, this approach is suitable for Emily's case as it considers the individual in the context of their environment, recognizing the complex interplay between personal and environmental factors. Using this, we will evaluate changes in her mental health, sense of identity, and overall well-being as individuals. At the micro level environment, we look for improvements with Emily's immediate support system, including her relationship with her dog, sister, and support members. At the meso, we would focus on Emily's interactions with her military friends and any new connections made in the LGBTQIA community. At the macro, we'd assess the impact of advocacy efforts on local policies or attitudes towards LGBTQIA seniors. We'd also evaluate the person and environment fit, examining how well Emily's chosen living situation aligns with her needs and identity. Finally, we'd assess Emily's adaptive capacity, looking at her improved ability to navigate the challenging situations while maintaining her authentic self. This ethical dilemma has significantly influenced my understanding of ethical and professional behavior as a social work practitioner. I've gained a deeper appreciation for the nuanced nature of ethical decision making. What initially seemed like a clear-cut issue of just supporting someone being their authentic self became a complex balancing act between safety, determination, and quality of life. Emily's case, highlights the critical need for cultural competence across multiple dimensions: LGBTQIA issues, veteran culture, ageism, and regional differences. I've learned the delicate balance between advocating for social justice and respecting a client's right to make their own decisions, even when those decisions might conflict with my personal values. The process of identifying and managing my own biases showed the importance of ongoing self-reflection in ethical practice. This case reinforced the need to consider how broader systems and policies impact individual clients' experiences. I've also gained a practical understanding of how ethical relativism can be applied to navigate complex, context-dependent ethical dilemmas. These insights will undoubtedly shape my future practice, making me a more thoughtful, culturally competent, and ethically grounded social worker. Thank you guys so much. Sorry that my time went over a little bit. Have a good day.